Automakers here in America have just shared their Q1 sales figures from 2021, and just about all the manufacturers are absolutely smashing it, breaking sales records, especially the luxury brands like Lexus. Acura is making a huge surge, and of course Genesis. However, there are some brands just tanking, and today we're going to find out why. Over at Automotive News, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, Kia cap solid Q1 with March surges. And you got to remember, March surges is comparing this March compared to March of 2020. That's when lockdowns were happening and people were like, what is happening? Like, different stage of the world right now. And people have Biden bucks or whatever you want to call it, stimulus money. So there is more money circulating definitely now compared to last March. So keep that in mind. But I really want to focus on the 3 months, the first quarter, because that's more telling in my opinion. If you look in this right column, just about all the manufacturers are knocking it out of the park. Since this channel focuses mostly on Japanese and Korean autos, we're going to talk about some of the big ones here. But man, look at Lincoln. Lincoln's negative. Chevy is negative. That's pretty crazy. General Motors not doing that well. If you look at Toyota down here, Toyota surging, man. They're up 21%. That's a lot for a large manufacturer. And they're inching closer to General Motors. So if we look at Ford even, they're about neutral. We look at General Motors and they're barely above positive. So Toyota, being a large manufacturer, is really making ground here to be the #1 manufacturer in the United States. All right, so let's talk about Honda and Acura. And guys, don't worry, we're going to break down all the Japanese and Korean brands individually and which models are doing hot and which are not so hot. This is just kind of the intro segment. We're painting a big picture here. Acura crushing it, up roughly 33%. Honda making a good rebound here, should be higher, but we'll detail why they're doing really, really well in one area and just sucking in another area. So that'll be fun. Genesis, well, they actually have an SUV on the market, so of course they're going to be up 100%. It's pretty crazy that they can go up 100%, but Hyundai doing well, up 28%. Kia, pretty good, up about 16%, and you combine all the Korean manufacturers together, Genesis, Hyundai, Kia, up about 23%. Mazda, up 23%, but you got to realize Mazda was also crushing it last year, so they're just continuing to do well here. Mitsubishi, this one surprised me, down 21% if we round up or round down 21%. Crazy. We'll get into their sales figures today as well. Infiniti, guys, Infiniti absolutely falling out of the sky, free falling right now, and it's not going to get better until that QX60 comes to market, the new redesigned one. Oh my gosh, it's sad to see, really sad to see Infiniti just plummet, and they didn't have a good Q1 last year, and it's even worse this year. Yikes. Nissan, though, Nissan's kind of making that rebound. They had a rough 2020. They're down about 30% on 2020 compared to 2019. So they're just trying to claw back to where they used to be. Interesting, Chrysler is up a huge amount. Dodge is falling. The Jeep segment's doing well, which is kind of a niche. So it almost reminds me of the MX-5 having its own niche. Well, the Jeep is no longer its own niche because the Bronco's around and who knows what other competitors, but it's just cool to see that Jeep's doing well. Ram doing well. Pickup trucks always do well. So Tesla, crazy, up 25%. They're just going to keep growing. They'll pass Lexus before too long, as they're not really a premium automaker, but people throw them in as a premium automaker because they cost as much as premium cars. Toyota, like I said, 21%. But if we look at Lexus, guys, 32%. Lexus crushing it, and they could be the #1 luxury automaker at this point in time. In 2021, Mercedes has not relayed their information for Q1, but if we look at BMW at the top, 71,000 units, and again Lexus at 74,000 units. So yeah, guys, Lexus could be #1 in sales this year for luxury automakers with a somewhat quiet product stacked. Definitely crazy. It just blows my mind. Audi doing well. And Volvo up 40%. We'll talk about Volvo at the very end, but they're up 10 months in a row for growth. So that's crazy. All right, let's get into Toyota. So Toyota is seemingly doing these sales reports. I guess they switched to quarterly. They used to do monthly, but it looks like they're going to do quarterly now. Praise God, though, we finally get some numbers from Toyota because it's been rough 2020. They didn't share a whole lot. So let's talk about what's going on. It looks like they're going to be using these sales reports to make announcements as well, because check this out. They're saying starting in April, TMNA will introduce 25 new refreshed or special edition vehicles over a 16-month period. 2 will be battery electric vehicles, 1 will be a plug-in electric vehicle, and nearly half will be sedans. Sedans, they're clinging on to them. We'll check out how well their sedans are doing in a little bit. And this is the best ever March sales for Toyota Motor North America, Toyota and Lexus divisions both. So best ever March. That is ridiculous. And they're saying the LS Hybrid will be on sale later this spring, and that will bring all of their hybrids up to 17 in total, including a fuel cell. So yeah, get excited for the Mirai, guys. And I'm not going to bore you going over all of the individual highlights. It's just a lot of numbers, which today's all about. But yeah, just huge records for pretty much all their vehicles. But what I want to do, why did they make this so small? What? Okay, so I downloaded the PDF because that last thing was way too small for our eyeballs. Here we go. Let's just look at year to date. I'm not going to go over March because, like I said, March is a little skewed because last March was the world shut down. Yaris is canceled. Corolla up, pretty crazy. Supra up, not that crazy. 8.6 is up. Mirai up 500%, but yeah, it's 500% better than the old Mirai. Avalon up 26%, Prius up 22%, and Camry, interestingly, is about neutral. So overall, the car division's up 4%. That's impressive. If we look at Lexus car division, IS up 122%. Been waiting for IS numbers. This is huge. And we just saw last week that this is the second fastest selling vehicle in America besides the Corvette. It doesn't spend very much time on the lot and it's gone. So the IS doing really, really well, up 122%. That's cool to see that the IS is alive and well. RC even up. Who said coupes are dead? ES up, no surprise. GS, well, it's canceled. Rest in peace, GS. LS up 41%. Well, not saying much because they're really only selling about 1,000 of them a month, but it's good to see the LS see such huge growth compared to last year. And the LC, I think people are finally waking up and realizing, oh, the LC is amazing. And now there's a convertible version of it to make it, it's perfect now, in my opinion. The LC convertible, you listen to VA all day with it right behind your head. Oh, love to have an LC convertible. Anyways, Lexus car division up 31%, largely thanks to the IS, but every other vehicle is up as well. Toyota SUVs are up 30%. Land Cruiser sales numbers, been waiting to see this, up 200%. Why? Because it's canceled, so we're not going to see any new ones. So people are like I hear that people are paying way over list price, which is crazy, but they're going to do it. Sequoia 44% up. 4Runner 32%, Highlander 33%, RAV4 up 17%. That's nuts because that sells like hotcakes. The Venza, well, the Venza wasn't available last Q1, but they sold 13,000 units. CHR even being neutral, and you know, recent reports are saying that CHR is going to get canceled here in America in favor for the Corolla Cross that should be built in the Mazda Alabama plant with Toyota. So we'll see how that goes. Sienna up 123%. Guys, got to remember we have an all-new Sienna that wasn't available last Q1, but it's just crushing it. I'm currently reviewing the Sienna and I'm liking it quite a bit. It's not perfect, like any vehicle is not perfect. I'll definitely share the things that I'm not impressed about, but overall, love the vehicle. Would love to have one in the near future, but my 2004 is just, it just keeps going. Anyways, Tacoma up 23%. Tundra, people are waiting for the new Tundra. That's what's going on. People want the new Tundra. They want the twin turbo V6. Well, they also want V8, so hopefully they bring a V8, but I doubt it. But yeah, they're waiting for the redesign on the Tundra. That's why that is down. And looking at the Lexus trucks here, up 30%, just like the Toyota trucks were up 30%, but here we are, Lexus UX doing well, NX, RX, GX, crazy. The GX, guys, is up 50%, and even the LX is up roughly 60%. That is incredible. But guys, we have so much other stuff to talk about. And yes, you can, if you want to pause and read about how their hybrids are doing, overall, they're doing pretty well. But we need to keep moving because there's so many charts we need to go over today. Over at Honda, if we scroll to the top, and just like the Toyota article, they have tons of records that they want to share. But we're just going to try to look at the more simple things. Acura cars in Q1 up 10%. Honda cars down 8%. And if we look at SUVs, Acura up 42%, and then Honda crushing it as well, up 33%. So we're going to go down to the sales figures here. Individual models. So let's start with Honda. Accord down 1%. Civic down 12%. I would assume people are waiting for the next generation Civic, but it's not looking good for the Civic. Clarity, well, it's kind of a joke. So is the Insight. Just not selling very well. And the Fit is still selling some volume here, even though it's been canceled in the United States. So their cars are just getting decimated. And I made a video last month, or yeah, I think it was last month, about the decimation of Honda's car sales. Really sad to see. But if you look at their SUVs, all their sales are just shifting to the SUVs. They're up 33% on the SUV end. CRV, HRV had a best month ever. Odyssey, even the Odyssey is crushing it. The Passport, Pilot had the best month ever. Ridgeline up 54%. Well, they just had the refresh on the Ridgeline, so impressive. Now to Acura, which is more exciting for me. I just enjoy covering the luxury brands a little bit more. ILX, what is going on with ILX? Having a good comeback here. NSX, well, yeah. RLX is canceled, and TLX, these numbers should be higher in my opinion because the TLX debuted, the redesigned debuted last fall. So it's a little sad to see. We'll see what happens when the Type S comes. And guys, more than likely, I'll be bringing you hands-on coverage of the Acura TLX Type S. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon because I could be going out of state to cover the new TLX Type S. Pretty darn excited for that. MDX, look at this, guys. This is the story for Acura right now. MDX, the new one, reviewed it, really liked it. 90% growth here, which is it already sells well, but now it's just selling like its potential pretty much. Up 90%. They sold almost 17,000 units, which is the best March ever for the MDX. Just crushing it. And Acura overall just doing really well. 32.8% up. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what those Type S models do line up. And guys, if they have something to replace ILX is kind of like the budget-minded. It's a great-looking car, but it's like the budget-minded luxury car. So I understand they need to sell volume there, but man, we need a new ILX Acura or something to replace it. But we have more things to talk about. Nissan here. Nissan up about 10%. But that's including Infiniti, and that's going to be our focus here when we're talking about Nissan. They should be doing pretty well in a lot of areas here, especially where's the Rogue? Let's go down the Rogue. Rogue up 45%, guys. That's their big volume seller. Their total cars in general, not SUVs, but their cars in general are up 8%. And largely, look at the Leaf. Guys, the Leaf's up 50%, selling some EVs. Nice work, Nissan. Sentra crushing it, and the Versa crushing it. So their lower priced entry-level vehicles are just doing really well. That's good to see. Altima and Maxima, which Altima, it's still pretty new. I'm surprised that it's getting decimated like it is. Maxima, not really a surprise, but heck, the Avalon is doing well, so why can't the Maxima be doing well? So a little bit fishy there. GTR outselling the 370Z, but you got to remember they're out of stock on the 370Z, as the Proto Z or the next Z, 400Z, whatever they're going to call it, is likely to be coming this year. So yeah, that's not going to last for long. Kicks is absolutely slaying it, and Nissan seems to be doing well with the entry-level vehicles, whether it's a car or an SUV. They seem to be doing well. Frontier, these sales should skyrocket as the new Frontier should be hitting early this year. Titan doing well, as pickups are doing well in general. Pathfinder, people are probably just waiting for the next Pathfinder, so that doesn't surprise me. Armada, not so hot, which is surprising because the Sequoia has been crushing it. Rogue, up 45%, like I mentioned. Murano, though, down 26%. That shouldn't be happening. I think people are just going towards the Rogue. It's newer and more features, more technology, I would assume. And it's just, it's just a better package probably than Murano at this point. We're not going to go over the vans because they're good. They're canceled as well, but they seem to be up. Infiniti, guys, holy cow, Q50. Who's going to stop the bleeding for Infiniti at this point? Their only hope is a QX60, which is down 60%, and it's going to be down the next quarter as well because the redesigned QX60 isn't coming until early Q3. So it's going to be rough sledding for Infiniti. There's nothing to save them at this point for 2021. There's nothing new for the Q50, Q60, Q70 is dead, QX30 is dead. QX50, they're going to have to try to sell more there, that's the only shining beacon right now, up 54% compared to last year. But guys, everything else is dismal around it. I mean, QX80, hopefully they can make enough of these, but the Armada was just redesigned or refreshed, and I wouldn't buy a QX80 over the new Armada. I'd pick the new Armada every single time. So yeah, tough times for Infiniti, and my heart's kind of breaking for them, but Nissan's kind of just left them out there to die like Lexus did with the GS, and hopefully the QX60 is enough to save them. The QX55 is definitely not going to be enough. I haven't got my hands on it, but I've been reading a few reviews on it, and yeah, it's plagued by the same issues the QX50 is. So, and it's pretty expensive. Yeah, just worried about them. And then their partner Mitsubishi, I'm worried about as well. I made lots of videos last year on like things aren't looking so great, but they're doing a lot of refreshes, and that might be their saving grace. So Mitsubishi Motor North America celebrates strong March retail recovery, arrival of new 2022 SUV. So March sales up about 60% compared to last March, which isn't saying much. Retail sales up 75% because there's more selling days this past March in 2021, I believe. So the good news is that the Outlander is here. That needs to save the brand. The redesigned Outlander, it is should be amazing for them. And the Eclipse Cross was just refreshed, which should help sales as well. So let's just zoom on down to the bottom here to see how things are going. Mirage, again, just like Nissan's cheap cars were doing well, looks like the Mirage here is doing pretty well despite sedans in general being down. Outlander support up on the year. Outlander though, guys, I don't know if it was a production volume sort of thing as they were switching over to the Outlander, the new redesigned Outlander, but just having 4,000 units sold, something's not adding up. I know people are waiting for the new one, but it shouldn't be that bad. Outlander PHEV down. I don't believe the updated powertrain on the Outlander PHEV is out yet. So Eclipse Cross though down massively, and I think again it's probably just a volume thing where they weren't producing them because they were switching things over, retooling, restructuring their manufacturing lines for the refreshed Eclipse Cross. That's just my guess. But yeah, Mitsubishi, I expect the rest of their year to look a whole lot better as the Outlander will be on sale the entire year. The PHV, which is super low volume, but the plug-in hybrid should rally a bit. And the Eclipse Cross, once the refresh is here, and volume, I expect it to do pretty well as well. But we want to talk about Mazda, guys. Mazda had a great 2020 compared to most other manufacturers. I think they're actually positive on the year, which I think only Volvo and maybe Tesla could only say that they were positive on 2020. So here we are. Let's just scroll down. Again, a really small graph. Let's see if we can zoom in on it. Yikes. Perfect. Here we are. Year to date, Mazda 3. And that could be fueled by the turbo version being out now. I think that might be helping sales. If you haven't seen my review on it, go and check that out. Really enjoyed it. Mazda 6 needs a refresh. We need that rear-wheel drive Mazda 6, or they can offer a rear-wheel drive one and then a front-wheel drive one. It will be interesting, but yeah, not doing too bad, all things considering. MX-5 Miata, again, one of those few pure cars out there that is always going to do well for them as long as they keep it pure, fun, affordable, and it's just and it's reliable too. So got a winning formula there on the MX-5. CX-3, just waiting for that cancellation. It looks like they're just slowly trying to reduce volume to officially cancel it here, while the CX-30 is just slaying it, 79% up. CX-5 killing it, up 19%. And CX-9 continuing to have a phenomenal rise in popularity, because last year it had a wonderful year last year, and it's even outpacing the 2020 pace. So overall, Mazda up 26%, and a strong showing from the sedans and cars, as well as the SUVs. Time to talk about the Koreans because they are doing well. No surprise, best total retail sales month of all time. All time, guys, not just March, but of all time, Hyundai had its best month ever. March sales up 115%, and retail sales grew 153%. Q1 sales increased 28%. They gave us percentages finally. I'm very happy about that. So we have percentages to see how each models are doing. Accent down, which is surprising because Mitsubishi and Nissan's entry-level vehicles were doing well. Elantra about neutral, 1%, which is about what you would expect since sedans are going down, and they just had a redesign to kind of, neutralize the popularity of sedans. The Ioniq up 17%, Kona doing well, Nexo, well, they don't really sell any of those. That's a fuel cell vehicle. Palisade continued to crush at 24%. Santa Fe has a redesign, 44% up. Sonata up 32%. That's interesting. Having the redesign out probably helps, but yeah, that's kind of surprising. Up 32% for the Sonata. Tucson. The redesigned Tucson is hitting now, so these numbers are going to just slay for the rest of the year. Veloster minus 67%. Yeah, doesn't quite have that same niche, that same draw as the MX-5 does. I know it's not a roadster, but yeah, you guys know what I'm saying. And the Venue, which I'd never see any Venues on the road, very rarely, up 83%. Genesis, again, no Genesis facts here for us to look through, unfortunately. Doesn't look like Genesis is reporting those numbers, but they're up like 120% or something. So they're doing well thanks to the GV80, and the rest of the year is just going to go up in sales because they're bringing out the GV70 as well. Lastly, Kia. Kia's crushing it. They had a really good month globally as well, but March 2020 marks best ever month in the first quarter sales for Kia in the United States. So for best ever first quarter here. And while Hyundai gave us percentages, Kia did not. So unfortunately, Kia, you need to get with the percentages game. It's not that hard. Rio looks to be a wash. Forte's barely up. K5 is about neutral, almost exactly neutral compared to last year, which I don't think the K5 was available in Q1 of 2020. Cadenza was just canceled. Stinger about neutral, and they just had a refresh, so I would expect the sales to rebound, maybe be positive on the year. K900 was just canceled. Soul doing well. Nero not doing so hot. Seltos just slaying it. I expect this vehicle to do really, really well for them. Sportage, even though it's old, outdated, and needs a redesign, it's still in the positive here. Sorrento just had a big update as well, but it doesn't look like it's surging like it should, which is interesting because the segment that it's in is with like the Murano, kind of, and the Murano wasn't doing very well. So I wonder if it's just that segment. Maybe people are going towards the compact crossovers like the Sportage instead, or they're also flocking to the larger one like the Telluride, which is outselling the Sorrento now. Pretty crazy. Carnival down, which is interesting because the Odyssey, well, the Carnival's not out. The Sedona just was canceled for the Carnival. So I don't think the Carnival has made it quite yet to our shores yet. But vans are doing well, at least for Honda and especially for Toyota with the new hybrid Sienna. That Sienna is just going to crush it. And once they add a prime version to it, you can say goodnight to the rest of the van makers, in my opinion. But that vehicle doesn't exist yet. So, and lastly, wanted to touch on Volvo because they're just doing weird things. If for the better for them. A 10th consecutive month of growth and best March result in 14 years. Volvo's returning to their old glory here, guys, at least here in America. Their SUVs accounted for 83% of their total sales, but Volvo just doing well in all of the Western Hemisphere with 125% growth in Latin America and 265% growth in Canada. Wow, and very interesting things going on for Volvo as they go to full electric in the next 10 years or so. And guys, I gotta end it there. This video is far too long, and I'm sure some of you made it to the end. Otherwise, you wouldn't know I don't know. I need to cut myself off. I'm gonna drink my matcha tea. Have a wonderful day. I love these news updates. I'll probably make a separate playlist for it. For the quarterly sales, I think people are gonna really enjoy that. Because not all the manufacturers are putting out monthly sales anymore. It looks like most of them. It looks like we have a combination of monthly sales as well as quarterly sales. So I'll probably just do the big updates, a long video like this, 30 minutes, whatever, quarterly, and you guys will probably enjoy it as much as I do. So guys, I'll leave it there. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you in my Sienna review. It's been so much fun, and I'll check you guys in the next video. Peace out.